individual organism in a common interaction in among different ways. An interaction may benefit both individual, or the interaction may benefit one organism to the detriment of the other. An interaction between two organisms that benefits one to the detriment of the other is an antagonistic interaction. Predation, herbivory, and parasitism are specific types of antagonistic interaction. In predation, one organism kills and consumes another. Predation provides energy to prolong the life and promote the reproduction of the organism that does the killing. The predator to the detriment of the organism being consumed. The prey, predation influences the organism at two ecological levels. At the level of the individual, the prey organism has a broad decline on fitness as measured by the lifetime reproductive success, because it will never reproduce again. At the level of the community, predation reduces the number of the individual in the prey population. And next is herbivory. Herbivory is the consumption of plant material by animals, and herbivores are the animals adapted to eat plants. As in predator and prey interaction, this interaction drives adaptation in both the herbivore and the plant species it eats. For example, to reduce the damage done by the herbivores, plants evolve defense compounds, including familiar compounds such as nicotine and cocaine. But not the least is parasitism. Parasitism is an individual organism. The parasite consumes nutrients from another organism, its host, resulting in a decrease in fitness to the host. In extreme cases, parasite can cause disease in the host organism. In this situation, we refer to them as pathogen. We divide parasite into two categories: endoparasite, which live and feed on the outside of the body of their host. For example of the endoparasites include frogs, tapeworm, fungi, bacteria, and protozoa. Ectoparasites include tick and leaves, plants, and protozoa. Plants and animals typically act as hosts. In the most situations, parasites do not kill their hosts. An exemption, however, occurs when parasitoids, which immobilize but do not kill a host by stinging it. The female then carries the host to a burrow where she lays eggs within the host body. After the larvae hatch, they consume the living tissue of the moth, eventually killing it.
Mutualism. Mutualism is defined as an interaction between individuals of different species that results in positive, beneficial effects on per capita reproduction and/or survival of the interacting population. There are two main types of mutualism relationship. The first is obligate mutualism. It is a type of mutualism in which the species involved are in close proximity and interdependent with one another in a way that one cannot survive without the other. Second is facultative mutualism. It is a type of mutualism in which interacting species derive benefit from each other but no being fully dependent that each cannot survive without the symbiotic partner. Example of mutualism. One example of mutualistic relationship is that of the oxpecker, a kind of bird, and the rhinoceros or zebra.
Management is necessary to present the long-term ability of ecosystem to deliver the service that underpin human well-being. This must involve trade-off between short-term well-being and the long-term resilience. Ecosystem and management is managing area are various in such an was that ecological services and biological sustained nature. Ecological services includes allocation of productive energy flow, maintenance of soil, fertility, nutrient cycle, and operation of the ecosystem and management is that it focuses on ecological system as a whole rather than on just some of their parts. Include public involvement and the goal settings process, integrates conservation into economic management. to cycle and incremental adaptive management.
Here are the examples of sustainability and ecosystem. Management is approach to natural resources management that aims to ensure that long-term stability and persistence of an ecosystem function and services while meeting socioeconomic, political, and cultural needs.
Contando, rezando que seas lo que ando buscando.
Freshwater ecosystems includes lake and rivers, ponds and wetlands, reservoirs and groundwaters. As a resource, freshwater is used for drinking, agriculture, industry, sanitation, recreation, and transportation. The various freshwater ecosystems serve as home to a wide variety of organisms such as fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals, as well as protozoans, worms, Ocean ecosystem or marine ecosystem covers approximately 70% of the Earth's surface. Marine ecosystem include the ocean, estuaries, coral reefs, and coastal areas. Marine ecosystems differ from freshwater ecosystem in that the water contains salt so that the plants and animals live plants at less salt tolerant depending on the specific location in which dwell.
What are some ocean ecosystems? In this video, you are going to learn about where the ocean meets the land, the intertidal zone, the richness of the reef, the near shore zone, the wide and the deep, the open ocean zone, the most important organism you never see, plankton. Let's start. The intertidal zone. The intertidal zone is the area between the high and low tide lines. At high tide, the area is completely underwater, while at low tide, the area is exposed to air. Intertidal habitats depend on land features at the shore. For instance, low parts of rocky cliffs might have plants that can survive out of water during low tide. Sandy beaches hide crabs and clams that burrow under sand to await the rising tide. Rocky bowls hold pools of water where animals remain in a natural aquarium during low tide. Tide pools may contain crabs, small shrimp, sea anemones, sea stars, sea cucumbers, snails, and a variety of small plants. These organisms are sheltered from large fish at high tide because of crashing waves, but are in danger of being eaten by birds at low tide. The near shore zone. The near shore zone is home to many species of fish, jellyfish, and seaweed. Coral individuals, called polyps, live in colonies. Polyps produce hard exoskeletons attached to those of their neighbors. Coral reefs. Coral reefs are the branch-like structures built by colonies of coral polyps. The branched reefs provide habitats for many organisms, which form a complex community and food web. The open ocean zone. Animals at the surface in the open ocean are much like those living near shore. Fish, sea turtles, and whales move between near shore and open ocean zones. As you move deeper in the ocean, light decreases, pressure increases, and temperature drops. Organisms, such as squid, that live in those extreme conditions are very different from those that live near the surface. Communities of shrimp, crabs, tube worms, slugs, and even fish form around hydrothermal vents, volcanic spots on the ocean floor. Bacteria there eat dissolved chemicals in the heated water. The bacteria start the food chain for larger organisms. The most important organism you never see. Plankton. Plankton are microscopic, drifting organisms that inhabit the wide open ocean. Plankton reproduce in such massive numbers that they form clouds in the water visible from space. Plankton aren't a single species. They are a group that includes plant-like organisms, animal-like organisms, and bacteria. Plant-like plankton make their food through photosynthesis, which releases oxygen back into the atmosphere, enabling us to breathe. Animal-like plankton feed on other plankton. Large and small animals filter plankton from the water as their food. Smaller fish, in turn, become food for bigger predators.
Terrestrial ecosystem. A terrestrial ecosystem is a community of plants and animals and other organisms that inhabits a specific land area. There is much less water available for survival than a freshwater or marine ecosystem. Therefore, water acts as a limiting factors for survival. This ecosystem experience greater fluctuation and temperature.
have different temperature requirements as they become conditioned to their growing environments. Soil is the footing for plants and acts like a pantry, providing a place for water and nutrients to be stored for plants' later use. An empty pantry may harm the growth of hungry plants. Relief is affected by rain, causing soil to wash away from slopes. This in turn causes thinning of the slope soil. The washed away soil can be found deposited at the base of the slope, causing thickening of that soil. Areas with little sunlight may not experience drying cycles and UV breakdown of decomposing materials. Drainage is necessary, as soil can only hold so much water before it becomes full and in effect drowns the roots of plants which are unable to intake oxygen within the soil. Educating local landholders of the importance of soil conservation techniques such as no-till plowing and natural ways to regenerate nutritive soil after cash crop harvests are vital in ensuring soil is not overburdened through use. Public policy is needed to provide incentive, outreach, and support to farmers and others who use lands, not to just use the lands to an end, but become stewards of the lands for sustainability and generational use. One problem to the terrestrial ecosystem in regards to farming is overcultivation of the soil, causing it to become depleted of its nutrients and topsoil without replenishing the detritus through additions of decaying plant materials and allowing the soil to rest a season or two. If not corrected, the topsoil will wear away and crops won't have ideal conditions to grow, if they're able to grow at all. Adding to failing farm soils may be the overuse of chemical fertilizers, whereby soil content isn't added to through the use of organic fertilizers that can replenish soil content and provide living space for healthy soil organisms. Currently, strawberry growers in California use a controversial fumigant, methyl bromide, to treat strawberry crops to kill a fungus called Fusarium wilt, which strawberry farmer Darren G. calls the great white shark of soil. Unfortunately, studies lean towards the understanding that the fumigant may be depleting our ozone layer too. The EPA has given an emergency state of use of the fumigant for now. California organic strawberry growers have found that switching fields for 3 to 5 years allows their strawberry crops to stay ahead of the fungus. Further research is being done to learn how to safely protect strawberry crops, the terrestrial ecosystem, and